Welcome back to my video series where I teach you how to fly an FPV, freestyle, racing, acro, drone, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to teach you how to fly it. This video is one in a series. So if it feels like you've dropped in the middle of a conversation, that's why. There is a link in the video description below to the full playlist for the whole series. And if you're looking to learn from the beginning, that's where you should start. But if you're here for the topic of today's video, then let's get into it. In this video, we are going to finally leave the straw bale map and go somewhere more interesting. Yay! We're still going to choose free flight, and we're still going to be using the Skyliner drone that we've been using, but instead of straw bale, we are going to choose the Bando City map. There we go, Bando City. And the first question you might be asking if you are new to FPV is, what's a bando? Bando refers to an abandoned building that FPV pilots can fly around and have fun with. This one is more like a construction zone, I guess. So it's not really abandoned, but, well, there's no trespassing signs in the simulator, so let's get on it. And what I'm going to ask you to do in this exercise is try to refine and add precision to what you've been doing so far. So far you've been flying around the straw bale map with plenty of altitude and no obstacles to crash into. For those of you who've been crashing into plenty of obstacles on straw bale, you're going to laugh at that. But what we're going to do here is we're going to try to fly a little more carefully. So we're going to take off from the takeoff location. We're going to fly forward, and we're going to fly over this street. What I'd like you to do is make a right turn and center yourself above the street and drop down. Let's say we try to drop down to the level of the streetlights or lower. And we're going to try and maintain our altitude below these streetlights. And we're going to pitch forward and fly at a controlled speed, whatever that is for you. But we want to be in control. We don't want to be bouncing off the ground, right? And we don't want to be going above the streetlights. So we want to try to control our speed and fly down the street. When we get to the end of the street, we're going to make a right turn and we're going to follow this circle around. And again, we'll try to manage our altitude. Let's say we'll try to be at the level of these trees or lower if you can do it lower. We'll come all the way around here. Nice smooth turn. And we'll proceed back down this street. Again, we will try to stay below the level of the streetlights. We're going to need more precise throttle control to maintain that altitude, and we're going to need more precise stick inputs to stay over the street and not sort of get offline. As we come to the end of the street, we'll fly through this obstacle here. When we get to the end, we'll do a 180 turn, and we'll go back through the other side and down the street again. Now, if you start getting good at this, where you can I'm just whipping down the street, I don't care. Yeah, no problem. Then you could say, okay, try to fly down the center of the street, right? Try to fly over the center line here of the circle, right? Try and just hold yourself above that center line. Try to be as close to the ground as you can. Start to gauge your altitude. Right? You will find that by looking off at the horizon and that by looking at the ground at the bottom of your screen, you can kind of get a sense of how close you are to the ground and when you're about to hit the ground. Get a sense of what that looks like. And if you are good and confident at flying down the street, try to fly as low as you can without tapping the ground, bouncing off the ground, getting all crazy, right? We'll try to fly as low as we can. As we come to the end, we're going to need to slow down and make that 180 turn. And we will come back. Now, if you are getting pretty good at that, let me give you another exercise to work on. And for this exercise, we're going to do something even more precise. We're going to pick one of these buildings, and we're going to fly through the bottom floor of the building. Okay? So I'm going to line it up. I'm going to choose the gap that I want to go through. and I'm going to line it up. Now, I've told you in the past that it's really hard to hover, and that you probably shouldn't spend too much time trying to hover. So instead, what we'll do is we'll fly slowly forward. We'll pick a gap that we're going to fly through. We'll line up on that gap, and we will fly straight through the building. It's easier to line these gaps up from this side because you have more room to get it lined up. So we'll turn, we'll look and find a gap through the building. Like I'm going to hit this rightmost gap here. As I approach it, I'm going to use the roll axis to get myself onto line, centered up through the gap, and fly straight through it. All right. We'll come out to the street. We'll go down the street a little ways. We'll turn to the buildings. We'll pick a gap. Oh, I'm overshooting. I need to roll to the right to fix that overshoot. There we go. Got it lined up. I'm exaggerating the movements here so you can kind of see what I'm doing. And through we go. Here's another one. And through we go. Okay. Now, if you're really good at that, what I want you to do is try to do that on the second floor, which is narrower. So here, we're going to line this up, and we're going to need to be very precise with our throttle and our altitude to avoid crashing. We're going to need to make very small stick movements to fly through here without crashing. But it is 100% doable. All right. I want to encourage you to avoid a thing that people do, which is they will like start to line up one gap. Like I'm going to get the center gap. Oh no, I screwed up. I didn't get it. And they'll just kind of, yeah, I got a gap, right? I'm going to get the center gap. No, I didn't get it. Oh, and I wasn't lined up straight. Hey, but I went through the building. It looked pretty cool. I want you to keep yourself honest. If you're going for the rightmost gap, then get the rightmost gap. Don't just like whip yourself at the building and go through the building and be like, it counts. It only counts. It's like when you're playing pool. It only counts if you call the shot, right? You can fool your friends, you can fool your YouTube audience, right? But you're only fooling yourself if you're training. All right, then if you're really good at that, the last progression in this lesson is going to be to pick a window on the third floor. Pick a window and fly in to the window. Oh my goodness. And fly through the house. Okay? And I'll give you one more, actually. The final progression is going to be to fly in a window, and then inside the building, we're going to make a turn. And we're going to fly out a different side instead of flying straight through. And when you start making a turn inside the building, it's going to be very challenging for you to avoid moving the throttle as you turn yaw and bouncing around. So what I suggest you do is you fly in, you kind of level out to slow down, you make that turn with yaw, and then you very, very carefully with pitch and roll, with very small movements, try and fly out. A lot to work on, but some people are going to be at a different place in their progression than others. Some people are going to find it very easy to fly down the road, and I want to give you something more challenging for you to work on, depending on where you are at in your particular progression. Oh no, there's no exit there. How do I get out? Go this way. Oh, there we go. Oh, I saw my finger slipped off the stick. Wow. Oh, they can't get in there. Well, there has to be an entrance. Is it on this side? Must be on this side. Okay, go through this side. From here. Out the window. Up. make it smooth. Good. And here we go. And oh, get in there. Oh no. Sloppy. Sloppy. So sloppy. Oh, come on. Good. And oh, well, that was less sloppy. Still pretty sloppy. Oh, there we go. Haha, I inverted. Inverted. Oh, now I crashed. Okay. That's going to do it for this one. Full playlist to all the lessons in a card on screen and linked down below. I'll see you in the next one.